Being 7 p.m., we'll declare the Board of Selectmen's meeting for December 19th open. First item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? Being no one, we'll move on to a review of the minutes of the December 5th, 2018 meeting. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for December 5th, 2018.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, motion's carried. Item 3 on the agenda is Mr. John Hogan, who is the town moderator, and Mr. James Tumalo, chairman of the Finance Committee, and they are here at the request of Selectman Sargent on video coverage of the Finance Committee meetings. Mr. Hogan, Mr. Sargent,
Yeah, I'm here tonight. Mr. Tumalo was unable to make it. He had another commitment. So I'm not sure what it is you're requesting, but I'd be happy to try and address it.
Thank you, John, for coming in tonight. Like the Comcast Committee has stated in the past at the Board of Selectmen's meeting, which Mark is on, and Selectman Kerrigan, they would like to get other meetings televised and stuff. You are in charge of the Finance Department, and I believe the Finance Department, such as other boards, not just the Finance Department, should be televised for the public to see at home. And I was just asking you, with your permission, to televise it.
Oh, my permission is really not needed. I believe it's by law, if someone wants to come in and tape a meeting, they're allowed to do it. It's certainly not a problem on my end. I haven't polled the members. I think we could address the Finance Committee. Jimmy could probably do that to see how they feel about it, but I certainly don't have a problem with it. It's an open meeting. I mean, the meetings are, the meetings are posted. They're open to the public, as they always have been. Minutes are available to those who might want to review them. I will say a lot of what they do is duplication, though, because, I mean, the department heads come in and see you for their budgets for next year, and then they go see the Finance Committee and reiterate the same thing they said to you. But if people have an interest, by all means, they should be able to see it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
yes.
If I may, I just make a comment that Mr. Hogan is absolutely correct. It's actually a requirement of law that anyone that wants to videotape any public body's meeting, it's open to the public. If you wanted to go in there with a iPhone or a camera and videotape a meeting and put it on YouTube, have at it. It's a free country and they're open meetings.
Right.
So while I doubt that Mr. Tumalo or the Finance Committee, I don't want to speak for them, but I doubt that they would object, because their objection wouldn't be valid, I guess.
Right.
I also agree with Mr. Hogan in that I've been to a few Finance Committee meetings in my time.
Yes, you have.
And while I encourage the public to be vigilant and be aware, and we should be doing everything we can to encourage videotaping all the public meetings in town,
Right.
I wouldn't be trying to sell any advertising on a Finance Committee meeting.
No, I would. The ratings might be a bit low, but nonetheless, it's a good thing, and Sean and Mark, who, and the rest of the board that's been participating in this are to be congratulated. I mean, you've done a great job with the website you have and putting meetings on delay, which a lot of people, let's face it, can't watch on Wednesday night for whatever reason, but then they can watch at their leisure, and it's
Right.
You're to be commended and congratulated for putting that together. Did a nice job.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to instruct Michael to work with either Alson or the schools to get somebody to start videotaping.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion?
Just
All
on
right.
the discussion, my reason for seconding the motion is hopefully we can get volunteers to videotape all the public bodies in town, not just the Finance Committee or just the Planning Board.
I agree with
But
that.
I support the idea that we should look into getting some support in videotaping other meetings besides the Board of Selectmen and the school committee.
No other discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, motion's carried.
Thank you for coming in, John.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you, John.
All right. I think I'm going to change hats. I think I'm on the next agenda too, but
Oh,
different role.
okay. Next item is KDP Growers Incorporated, 86 and 89 Parker Street. And this is a proposed marijuana cultivation and retail sales operation.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to put on a totally different role here.
Okay.
Put my moderator hat away and just be a real estate broker that I do
And
for a
if you could
living.
have those who are sitting with you, if they're going to speak, introduce themselves.
Yeah, but they'll just be, I'll kind of start it and then they'll
Okay.
be, thank you. Let me first go over the facility. The facility where this is proposed is the former National Perforating Company on Lower Parker Street. It was a building that was environmentally not clean, and the present owner, Jeff Cunningham, has done a really good job in cleaning that up. The DEP is just about done with the site. It would just have a deed restriction for residential, but as you know, on Lower Parker Street, we don't have to worry about residential coming down there. So it's been cleaned up, and this organization is coming in, and they're seeking what they would like to do is go from seed to retail at this site, and have a marijuana establishment that would grow and cultivate and cook and sell marijuana at this site. My understanding is there are 2 retail licenses in town, one you've already awarded, and they would be seeking the 2nd license from the town. The partners involved are Kalpesh Dezay and Greg Solomon, who are here. Greg and Kalpesh is here, and they are the 2 principals of the organization. They do have other folks here with them who are the grower, the security person, and so forth. The person to my left is Attorney Jay Yeomans, who is a principal in the law firm of Smith, Costello, and Crawford. Smith, Costello, and Crawford has been very much involved in various marijuana groups, organizations, and so forth. And they're well esteemed in what they do. And this Jay, in fact, was very much involved in helping for the successful passage of Chapter 55 of the Acts of 2017, which was an act to ensure safe access to marijuana, which passed the legislature and the governor signed. He's also the primary architect of the state's medical use for marijuana regulations in 2013, and was the principal person involved in writing the regulations for the state. So he's certainly a good advisor to this group in terms of what they're trying to accomplish. And at this point, I think I'll pass it on to Jay and let him speak to this as well.
John, thanks so much, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to the Select Board members. Really a pleasure to be here today representing my client. I think the main message that I think we're hoping to share with you today is that first, our client, Mr. Desai, and his team that he's put together really is a top-notch team representing folks that John just mentioned, as well as a whole team behind us, which successfully launched the 2nd medical use marijuana dispensary here in the Commonwealth in Brockton. So there is a deep bench of experience ranging from Mr. Desai's experience successfully running various retail stores across the Commonwealth, highly regulated retail stores, various liquor stores and other highly regulated stores that receive licenses from the state. No compliance issues. This is somebody I think that you would be really proud to have in your community. And it most importantly is going to be backed by a team, including myself, who's going to ensure that this is really something that is compliant with the regulations, proactively working with your community and with each of you to ensure that we're addressing your concerns and your constituents' concerns. So Just really a pleasure to be here today. We see this as the start of a discussion, not the end of a discussion. And so we just look forward to sitting down with each of you and understanding really what we can do to make this proposal something that works for this community. So we look forward to beginning that discussion. And thank you, John, for having us here today.
Hi guys, I'm Kalpesh Desai. As he mentioned, I'm involved in few businesses. The only thing which kind of is pretty close to what is going to happen in the regulated industry of marijuana is how do we handle the sales? And I guess having been in the liquor industry for the last 13 years, it is a challenge, but it is something that me, along with my team that I have for all the liquor stores, we've so far done an amazing job where I tell all my employees, I'll be more than happy if you say no to a person because they were not the right customer for us to serve, as well as following all the regulations from the state as well as the town. We look forward to working with you guys. Thank you.
So I don't know if you guys, if you all have any questions. We're here, we brought the team, and we realize that, there'll probably be other opportunities in the future where you'll have some questions, but anything you may have today, we want to be available.
Any questions from members of the board?
Mr. Chair, I just have a
Yeah.
couple. I'm just looking at this for the first time tonight. I noticed there are 3 separate parcels, is that correct? 86, 89, and 98 Parker Street?
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, Mark, there is. There's the building itself is one parcel, the parking lot across the street is another.
Okay.
And the parking lot to the right of that parcel is a third.
Okay.
It's gonna be all one group, but it's separate 3 parcels right now.
Okay. I just didn't know, like, are you gonna erect another building on one of those parking lot sites for, like, separate it for retail sales, or is it all gonna be combined under one roof?
They'll just operate in the one building that's already there.
Okay. Okay.
It's, the building location, I think, is good for this, too. It's if you know, it's gone out of the way.
Yeah.
As you know, there's been traffic issues with some of the newer ones opening, you've probably read that.
Yeah.
But by the time this gets going and so forth, it won't be the first one out of the block.
Right.
And it's not right in an area where you're gonna get a lot of congestion and so forth. It's out of the way. People will know where it is, because they're gonna know where this is, but it's not right in the center of town, or not right
Right.
on Main Street.
And just one other one you mentioned, unless I didn't hear you correctly, you said you have other businesses that you currently operate?
Yes, so I have liquor stores, just being specific because this is more related.
Okay.
I own Natick Wine and Spirits in Natick,
Okay.
Hopkinton Wine and Spirits, New England Wine and Spirits in Newburyport, Arundel Liquors in Salisbury, Richdale's in Gloucester, and McDonough's Liquors in Stoneham.
Okay, so this is your first venture into the cannabis industry, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
for the state, yes.
okay.
So one of my partners, who is not here right now, they have partnership in grow facilities in Arizona,
Okay,
but he's not present right now. But
Okay.
yes, we do have expertise, plus having these guys from the security as well as the head grower, and they were like the second guys who opened it, so they are right there with us day one.
And just building off that, I mean, we have countless people come into our offices every day, a lot of which, I have to tell you, we politely say, good luck, keep dreaming, and we hope someday we see you successful. There's really 3 key ingredients that we see to any successful cannabis business: money, business acumen, and the ability to pull together a team that can really pull together a lot of different elements, whether it's retail, security, cultivation, which is incredibly complex. What Kalpesh has done here is he's been able to bring all of these ingredients together, working with John and hopefully with each of you to, I think, pull together a really great proposal that I think we'll all be really proud of. So, again, I think each of the people that are here today that represent the team have a unique skill set that will be important to the success of this proposal.
thank you. That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the parking lot, how many cars does it hold?
At this point, there are 85 cars for customers, and there's gonna be 10 more cars parallel parking to the building, which we were thinking about after we work it out with you guys, is have some handicap parking, and there is a separate parking lot at the back for all the employees.
Michael, I do have a question for you. Do we have any documentation from the state about the cleanup? The Board of Selectmen, Sean wasn't on the board back then, but the Board of Selectmen, I voted no to waive the taxes for the, for this company that they want to lease off of. Do we have any documentation stating that they did the cleanup?
I believe the assessors do. I don't have it, but I can get a copy from the Board of Assessors.
Thank you.
The property taxes have gone back to the normal level.
Right.
They were just for a temporary period. And I believe they've provided those documents to the assessors, so I'll get a copy for the board as well, for the selectmen as well. too.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I just had a question. I know our bylaw that we passed at town meeting only allows, the buffer zone is 500 feet from another marijuana facility. And I know before I was on the board, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the board entered into an agreement with another facility in the neighborhood. Michael, I just don't know what the procedure is if the state sorts that out and we let them race to it, or if we're bound by can we approve two within the buffer zone if one hasn't gone forward? I might not be clear here.
Well, you're talking about the one down at Kelly Plastics?
Yes.
Oh,
Our first one we approved.
it's down at
Theirs
Kelly.
is right around the corner. So
The old
what
Kelly
Selectman
Plastics.
Kerrigan is saying is there enough
Is that in
distance?
a buffer zone? And if it is, can we approve it, or does the state sort that out?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure. And I don't even know the status of that
Sure.
license. I think the
Um,
board,
You understand what I'm saying?
rightly had indicated in some of the new guidelines of trying to get updates on these
Right.
projects as they're going through the state. Because as the representatives here indicated, some people get started and they never make it, or they don't have the capacity to get through. And at this point, we don't know with that original proposal, it's been over 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and we've never heard back from them, so we need to investigate where they are in the process. So I can certainly find all those answers out by the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I just
Yes.
wonder if it makes a difference that I believe that was a medicinal growing facility only. It wasn't for recreational use or
Yeah, it
sale,
definitely
and it
wasn't
was
recreational
definitely not
use, but
retail
with-
sales,
The
so.
bylaw says establishment, so, and again, I'm not a
Right,
lawyer,
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure all the regulations and the terminology and the medical and retail and growing and recreational, so I.
And I'm not-
certainly check
I'm not
into that.
opposed to the plan in particular. I don't know who sorts this out. If that's if that one's petered out, or if you guys are just racing them, I don't know. I don't want you
I'll-
going down a road that is
Yeah,
gonna be a dead end.
I'll look it up. I think you're referring to the bylaw as opposed to state law.
Yes.
We passed a town meeting.
Yep.
And
So it would be
I
the
thought that
bylaw-
had something to do with the same owner being within.
It can be
I've got to
within
research
500
it
feet
again,
if it
but-
is the same owner.
What's that?
It could be within 500 if it is the same owner, but if it's two different owners, it can't be.
Is that what it was?
That's my understanding.
Okay, we'll go back and look at that.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the board that would be interpreting the application of the bylaw would be the planning board.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we're entering in a bad faith agreement. I just want to make sure we're not misleading you
Good point.
guys, so.
Well taken.
But it would be us that would determine. It's our bylaw. So it wouldn't be the state that'd be looking.
Correct.
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
It would be the
Correct.
planning board, probably the planning board.
I'm sure Mr. Duffy is very aware of the application of the bylaw, and he would be helpful
Yeah,
in sorting
well, I'll
this
check
out.
with him tomorrow. And
And
I can look it up online too, and, it's on there. So, just to take another look. I know I presided over it, but I don't remember it word for word, so.
the only thing I'd add is, the state is only going to look at whether or not any applicant is correctly zoned. So they will reach out to the municipality and request a response certifying that the applicant is correctly zoned according to your standards. So, and that's the case in any community. So, that would be the resolution from the state perspective, and they will move applications forward as they are deemed complete. And so certification of zoning would be an element of deeming an application complete.
Okay, any other questions? I just have one question, not so much for myself, but for members of the audience that are watching on TV. I did have a chance to look at this online, not the paper copy. This paper copy is the same as what we had
It should be,
online, right? Yeah. So, I mean, you're planning to cultivate and sell cannabis, and you're planning to sell both medical and recreational?
Correct.
So it'll be both in one facility?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. That was my only question. Okay.
What exactly would you be looking for from this board at this point?
I think we would hope to engage with the board and with your constituents to understand any issues or concerns you may have that we can resolve through thoughtful planning. And I think ultimately we would be coming to you to seek a host community agreement, executed host community agreement, and to resolve any outstanding zoning issues in order to move this project forward at the state level. We're eager to work with you. Mr. Desai can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, we are in no other communities. This is the community that we wish to be in and to partner with. You'll see a lot of applicants that will come into communities and cast a broad net where they'll be in 5 or 6 surrounding communities trying to see which one may work out. That's not the case here. This is an applicant who really is excited by the opportunities that Clinton provides and what the area provides, and wants to work in this community and build something that will bring revenue to you and will build successful business for my client. And so this is a partnership that he's looking forward to commencing. So I think to turn the question back a little, we would love to look to you in terms of any appropriate next steps you may see in terms of setting that path forward to, again, get a host community agreement.
Well, one thing that occurs to me is that later on in the agenda, we're going to be looking at and taking an action on a draft guidelines for marijuana facilities that town solicitor has drafted. And so that once that draft policy is accepted, we'd be happy to share it with you. I think this document provides a lot of the information that is in that, but there are a few other things, and we would be sharing that with you once it is approved and move forward from there.
Very
Okay? Okay. is that
Thank
it?
you.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
we'd like to
Nice meeting
say
you.
thank you for your time, and
Good luck.
good luck in
Thank
your
you.
endeavors.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays
Same
to
to
you.
you.
You too. Thank you.
So he could be here, do you see it?
If they're here.
Yeah, they're here, I think. Crescent Builders Incorporated, inflow and infiltration removal. Crescent Builders Incorporated has requested to meet with the Board of Selectmen to discuss a proposal to conduct sewer system repairs in Clinton to obtain about 52 gallons of inflow and infiltration credits in order to construct a 40B development in Lancaster. There is a sewer connection moratorium imposed by the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection for the MWRA sewer treatment plant located in Clinton that requires system repairs to remove 4 times the amount of current inflow and infiltration for each gallon of additional sewage proposed for treatment. So, sir, if you would identify yourself, tell us who you are, and give us your name and address, and we'll be certainly happy to listen to you.
My name is Iqbal Ali. I'm from Crescent Builders. I'm proposing a project in Lancaster which requires I&I removal because of the DEP consent order in 2004 which was signed from the district. Since Lancaster doesn't have much I&I to be removed, the other option I have is if Clinton has I&I to be removed, that would be my second choice be.
Okay. So you'd be doing some sewer work here in town to remove 52,000 gallons of inflow into the sewers?
208, Mr. Chairman.
Well, that's what I was getting to.
Okay.
Because it says here, to obtain about 52 gallons of inflow and infiltration credits. So you would be actually be doing work that would stop 52,000 gallons times 4.
I thought
From
it was
in-
3.
Huh?
It was times 3, I thought.
No, it's times, well, let me read it again.
Yeah, we can double check to see what Lancaster is. It used to be 4.
Lancaster is 4, but Clinton is 3, I think.
Oh, well, then they've changed it. I mean, back at the last time we did this, we have done this before. The last time we did it, it was 4. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
Is it?
If Lancaster is 4, your application is in Lancaster, so I would suggest that, we can check with town council, but I think the 4 times,
Because Lancaster changed to 4, that was recently before I applied for the permit. After I applied for the
Well,
permit.
this isn't Lancaster that implodes, that has the limit of 4. It's the state.
Oh, it's the state. I thought it was Lancaster because.
No, it's the state. The
Okay.
state they run the sewage treatment plant, the MWRA,
Yes.
and they require, it's their requirement, not Lancaster's.
Okay.
So I would guess if Lancaster's is 4, I would guess ours is 4. I don't know why.
even if it's not, I would suggest that because the project is in Lancaster and the sewerage flow is being generated in Lancaster, the Lancaster regulation would apply to the project. You're not proposing a project in Clinton,
Yeah.
so Clinton's regulations, I don't think would apply, but.
Yeah,
I think-
and Mr. Chair, just in response to that, I know the board asked town council to review this. He's not able to be here tonight, so he might have more information on it. But I would probably be thinking along the same lines, that Clinton is only the vehicle to do the work, but you're still following the regulations under the town of Lancaster, so.
I do understand whatever the regulations is, I had to follow it. If it is 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, I'm willing to do it. But to do that thing, I think there is a agreement to be signed by Clinton so that it can be accepted by town of Lancaster, I believe, as per the consent order. So that's what I want to get that paperwork going.
Mr. Chairman, if I may make a motion?
Yes, please
that
do.
I'm making a motion that the board vote to support the applicant's request, subject to satisfactory negotiations and agreements with town council, the town administrator, and the superintendent of public works. So everybody's clear ahead of time what the expectation is and what the requirement is and what the commitment on your part is.
I'll second that along with the stipulations as well.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve this concept pending negotiations with town council, town administrator, and DPW superintendent to specify what works to be done and making sure that it's in compliance with the state's requirement. There any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, just under discussion, so you're gonna be digging the roads up in Clinton, fixing the sewer pipes, correct?
Usually, I think I was talking to the Public Works, and they have contractors who they usually do it. And basically, I'm going to fund it to get it fixed.
So you're gonna fund it, you know, putting the new pipes in the ground, you're gonna be,
Actually, they sleeve it, I think. They sleeve the pipe, I think.
just leave the pipe, but
Sleeve
you're
the
gonna
pipe and
But you-
Sleeve it.
Sleep it.
but you're gonna have to disturb the hot top, correct?
I don't think so. It all depends upon the nature of area what we are working in. If it has to be new sewer system put in to fix it, or if it has to be, all the leaks and catch basins have to be fixed. It depends upon what area they are going to identify to do it.
So if you do disturb the hot top, are you just gonna repave the trench, or are you gonna be repaving the whole road?
Whatever the requirement is of the town.
I would like to see this in writing before I vote yes on this.
That can be in the stipulation of the agreement.
Yeah. Right now, I'm gonna be voting no on this motion, and I'd rather hear from the town solicitor, our DPW, right now in front of us, instead of them working behind the closed doors. So I'd rather have the whole meeting in public right now, so I'm not comfortable in voting for this motion, so I'm going to be voting no on this.
Mr. Chairman, the intent of the motion is to encourage the applicant to go forward and meet with the town officials. It will still have to come back to this board for a final vote, based on them working out the exact details of what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. So the intent of my motion was to give direction and give the applicant encouragement to move forward, but this board would need to vote again to finalize it.
To finalize the agreement.
Right.
Right,
I understand.
yeah. Any other discussion?
Just to reiterate, so nothing will be getting done until this board signs off on it, and votes on it. That's all, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay, anything else?
No, Mr. Chair, I have similar reservations, and I'd love to see a finalized proposal. I'm just, yeah, I'd love to see what actually we're doing here, because everything I've read about this project hasn't been terrific. So I just want to make sure the town's protected in any way possible.
Okay. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
Opposed?
One opposed. Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Next item on the agenda is the 2019 annual license renewals. The following license need approval from the Board of Selectmen for renewal to operate in 2019, and the license list is enclosed. Would you like to go through these individually,
Negative.
or
No,
like
we
to
could
do
just
them
do
as a
them
group?
on a group.
Okay, well, we'll accept. What's the pleasure of the board with regard to the renewal of the license?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the 2019 annual license.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the annual licenses for 2019, and those are liquor Class 2 dealer license, Class 3 dealer license, common victualer's license, jukebox licenses, automatic amusement device licenses, live entertainment licenses, commercial garage licenses. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion's carried. Moving now to administrative business. Following is the list of, first item under administrative business is late-night closings. The following establishments are requesting late-night closings for Saturdays in the month of January: Clinton Turn Vereen, Crystal Cafe, Liberty Tavern, Ringside Cafe, Spruce Street Tavern, The Simple Man Saloon, and the Polish American Club. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the late-night closings. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just if any other establishment comes through, comes after this and wants permission, if Chief Levenger can grant them permission.
Okay. Any other discussion? And so stipulating that Chief Levenger will approve anyone comes in later. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? The motion's carried. Town Hall use event. An application was filed for use of the Town Hall Fallon Memorial Auditorium for the Exchange Club Irish Night to be held on March 9th, 2019. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to grant the Exchange Club Irish Night for use of the Fallon Memorial Auditorium for March 9th, 2019.
Okay.
Second.
And motion made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, motion's carried. Town Hall, and a second application was filed for use of Town Hall, Fallon Memorial Auditorium for the annual Leprechaun Society Convention to be held on March 16th, 2019. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve it. There any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, motion's carried. This is a momentous, now we're going to old and new business. We have a momentous decision to make. The town of Clinton has been awarded $403.60 from the Commonwealth Transportation Infrastructure Fund which assesses a 20-cent fee for taxi and livery rides in each community. These funds can be used by the municipality to address the impact of transportation network services on municipal roads, bridges, and other transportation infrastructure projects such as the Complete Streets Program. These funds must be put into a separate fund and can only be spent through an appropriation by town meeting. So I guess what we have to do tonight, Michael, is decide where we want to put this $403.60 to be spent on our transportation infrastructure. Is that
Right, Mr.
correct?
Chairman, we do need to give a report to the state by the end of the year saying how it's going to be used.
Uh-huh.
So one of the programs that's eligible is Complete Streets Program, which has been for sidewalks or bike
Signage.
paths or signage and that type of thing. And it has to be approved by town meeting, so it can only be spent through an article at town meeting anyways. But we just needed to kind of say, since we do have a Complete Streets Program in existence, if we it might be just as easy to say that's where we're going to spend it, so we can secure the funds from the state. And once we submit this report, then we'll be able to utilize the funds at next year's town meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to allocate the grant from the state to the Complete Streets Program.
A second.
Motion's made and seconded to allocate the $403.60 to the Complete Streets Program. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed, motion's carried. Local guidelines for marijuana facilities. The town solicitor has provided a draft policy for the Board of Selectmen to review that develops a local process for accepting applications to site marijuana facilities in Clinton.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we just table it till next meeting so we can get the feedback from town council.
Well, he's submitted
This
it.
is his feedback.
This is his feedback.
Where? I didn't see it.
This is his
It's on your,
document.
it's in your
I must have missed
electronic
it.
file that Michael sent you.
I must have missed it because I didn't see it.
Yeah. It's in there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chairman, but this document was drafted by town council and
Right.
submitted to us.
Right, and
Yes.
you made a
Well-
suggestion that we add a line
Right.
that said that the licensees be required to give us an update on their progress. And I believe that he added that, so I don't know, I'm ready to.
I'm ready to vote too, Mr. Chairman. I'll actually make a motion to approve the draft.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the draft submitted by town council. Is there any discussion?
Just under discussion, I'll be voting, I won't be voting for it because I didn't review it. I'm sure it's well put together if town council submitting it, but I just don't feel comfortable voting for something I haven't read. So I'll be voting no on it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
Aye.
Are you opposing or are you just abstaining, Mark?
He
Well,
said he was opposing.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're opposing, okay.
I'll just oppose it for the time being
All
because,
right.
like I said, I haven't read it.
Okay.
I'm sure it's, like I said, I'm just not comfortable voting for something I haven't read, so.
So the motion's carried. Tax Classification Study Subcommittee Report. This arose as a result of the last meeting where Mr. Conley, I believe, wanted to make a motion relevant to the long-term movement of the tax split, and we decided that it needed an item agenda, so with that, I guess I would turn it over to Mr. Conley to make a motion, or
Mr. Chair,
to talk,
I can do both.
okay?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the Board of Selectmen adopt the recommendations of the Tax Classification Subcommittee, specifically Recommendation 1, reduce the town's tax rate split at a rate of 2 percentage points a year until a single rate is achieved. And number 2, continue to expand exemption programs as allowed by law. That's a motion.
Okay. Motion's made, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded to basically follow the guidelines of the study committee with regards to lowering the split and moving forward with finding additional and expanding exemptions. Is there any discussion?
Under discussion, Mr. Chairman, I want to say that this is just a philosophical statement. It's not binding on future boards, and every year, the tax classification will be an agenda item, and this board, whoever comprises it, will have the opportunity to follow this recommendation, or ignore it, or change it. And I would expect that, given changing financial situations for the town, that is very, very likely to happen. But still, adopting the recommendations of the subcommittee makes a philosophical statement to the community as to the direction the town should be going in. So that's my reason for making the motion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be voting no on it. This board did not adopt the recommendations of the tax classification subcommittee. They raised the rate 4 points, not 2%. So I will be voting no. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
regarding the second recommendation, I hope the board takes the assessor's offer to look into exemptions and what's available to us from the state seriously, and if you're forming a subcommittee to look into that, I'd be happy to serve.
Just under discussion, Mr. Chair, I'll be voting in favor of the motion because all you have to do is look at the numbers. It was the assessor put together a 27-page detailed report, which was, I thought, really well put together. And I hope I don't know if it's posted on the website, but I hope it is so people can view it and judge for themselves. The numbers speak for themselves. I'll be voting in favor of it. And that's it. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, I am going to vote against this. I'll tell you why. As I said when I voted on the split at the last meeting, that I do not believe that the split should be totally eliminated. Mr. Connolly's motion and the recommendation of the tax classification subcommittee was to gradually move towards total elimination, which I'm not in favor of. So I'm going to be voting no. Any other discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
Opposed.
And I'm opposed, so it's 3-2, the motion carries. Goals and objectives. There any discussion on goals and objectives? Downtown Decorative Streetlight Project, Tax Classification Study Committee, Sidewalk Survey and Maintenance, OPEB Oversight Recommendations, and Increased Citizens Participation. Any reports on goals and objectives?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this, again, straddles committee reports or goals and objectives, but following up on our talk about snow removal, I spoke with the superintendent of the DPW, and after considering our options to send out a mailing with tax and/or water bills, he felt it deserved its own mailing, so we are working right now on what the content of that will be and hope to get out as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Committee reports. There any reports from the various subcommittees?
Well, Mr. Chairman, at our last meeting 2 weeks ago, the subcommittee presented to the board a proposed job description for the future human resources position in town. And if there's no objection, I'd like to make a motion that the board adopt that job description and give that approval back to the personnel board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the job description submitted at the last meeting for the Personnel Director and refer it back to the Personnel Board for action. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just under discussion, Michael, I do have a question. How much is the new Human Resource Director going to be making yearly? What is his salary?
The amount that was budgeted was $40,000 for a half year, so the intent would be somewhere in that range. I don't have the grid with me, but the personnel board was looking at a grade on the grid somewhere within that range. But I can get the grade amount.
Where is the office going to be located?
That has not been determined yet.
I think there's more that we need to, look into. I'm gonna be voting no on this one.
Okay, any other discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I was just looking it over, it seems reasonable. I was just curious, I saw it was only looking for 3 years' experience. Do you think that lines up with the salary, or do you think it's gonna get what we need here, or is it just how that works out with what we're looking to pay? I don't know, okay.
Yeah, I guess until we advertise and try to recruit, we'll
Okay.
see what we are able to get.
Great.
Yeah, so,
I think it's a great step in further professionalizing town services, and I look forward to seeing who we get.
I mean, it's brand new for Mr. Chair, just as an answer, it's brand new for us, for our town, so we don't know what to expect.
Yep.
It's probably one of the biggest issues that department heads have been asking for guidance in this realm, and the school department has expressed kind of doing a joint venture like the facilities director as well too, so this person would be working town-wide and not just for the town, not just town hall as well, so.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye and opposed.
Opposed?
Motion's carried 4-1. That's it, I guess, huh? Any other committee reports? Yes.
I don't have a committee report, Mr. Chairman, but I do want to wish all my board members, Selectman Akabuchi, you, Mr. Chairman, Selectman Conley, and Selectman Kerrigan, a happy and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I want to wish Michael and Joyce and everybody else watching and here in the public a Merry Christmas.
And I'm sure that we all want to also wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
But before we adjourn, talking about the next meeting would be scheduled for January 2nd, the day after New Year's. Now, January is a 5-month, a 5-week month. So if we switch the meetings next month to the 2nd and the 4th, we could,
Weeks.
it's 2nd and the 4th week, yes. We could give a little ourselves and the town administrator and Joyce a little breather at New Year's and still manage to meet twice during the month, so. Without objection, I would say we will next meet on the
Fine with me.
On the
second
ninth,
Wednesday.
the 9th and the
The
23rd
9th and the
23rd,
23rd.
yep.
next year.
Next year,
Oh, next year.
okay? All right, so, again, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
And we'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Merry Christmas.
Two.